Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero. I am here with Martin Sleva.
Hey, Brownie Brown.
It is Brownie Brown, and this is actually a game as a collaboration between Brownie Brown, HAL Laboratory, Shigesato Itoi, and the game is
Mother 3.
Mother 3.
That's
This is
exciting.
the much sought after video game for
Yeah.
a lot of Earthbound fans.
Yep.
It came out in 2006.
Yeah, 2006, April 20th.
And there have been fan campaign upon fan campaign for the past almost a decade, actually.
Yeah, we're
really,
reaching
really
that point.
wanting this game to come to the West,
Yeah.
and for good reason. So we're going to talk a little bit about that right now.
I mean, as you guys know, Mother 3 is the sort of sequel to Earthbound, which is known as Mother 2 in Japan. This is a game that came out in Japan for the GBA to rave reviews. Never got a real localization here in the West, although
No.
there is an amazing Fran translation.
Fran translation?
A Fran Mirabella translation.
No, it wasn't by Fran Mirabella. It was by our good friends at Starman.net.
Yeah.
More specifically, a couple of folks got together and
Yeah.
put together a really, really good
Yeah.
translation. So good, in fact, they offered it for free.
Yeah.
If Nintendo ever wants it, Nintendo, if you're
No.
listening, these people are out there.
But I have played through Mother 3 using that translation, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yes.
So
So what I'm doing right now really quickly is that even though you have the option to name characters, the game has a suggestion
Sure.
for all of them. So you
Yeah.
can name them whatever you want, but I just basically stuck to the names that
Yeah.
came with it.
So you might recognize that little blonde boy as the one on the top left as Lucas.
Lucas!
From,
That's
Smash
how
Bros.
he was
Brawl.
said. Yeah.
Lucas.
Lucas.
From Smash Bros. Brawl. He
His
is the
brother-
sort of analog to Ness in this game.
Yep, and he has a brother Klaus.
Yep.
Their father, the next one underneath him is Flint. Hinawa?
And now was the mom.
And
then
what's
you
the
got,
dog's name again?
I don't know, probably Doggy.
In the
Boney.
translation, it was Boney.
Boney
Yeah,
the dog.
Absolutely. And we
Your
have-
favorite thing is love. Your favorite food is Japanese words.
Yeah, Japanese words. So these, the world of Mother and specifically of Earthbound has sort of, there's just a unique sort of story being told. I feel like
Yeah.
not enough games really tell this kind of story.
Yep,
It's
yep.
sort of very heartfelt. There's a very earnest message somewhere inside of it.
Yep.
But it's also kind of goofy and weird and strange in other ways
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, definitely. The original Earthbound for Super Nintendo was that really cool, sort of weird look at modern American and Americana. As you
Yeah,
go through these strange
absolutely.
sort of little villages and big cities and
Yeah.
places that look like Vegas and places that look like Miami. Do a really good job with sort of like art and pastiche and pop culture at the time.
Yeah.
But this game, while it kept the aesthetics and a lot of the feel, I felt like this game went in a much more emotional direction.
Yeah. Right from the
Yeah,
start.
right from the start.
Oh
I
man.
mean, I
So
don't know if
no
we could-
spoilers here.
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil it,
Yeah.
but like some like legit stuff happens very early in the game, and just like you wouldn't think because the graphics are sort of cartoony and the characters are obviously little sprite braced dudes, but like the emotion
It gets
in
deep.
their mannerisms and in their actions, you're just like, I did not expect this to
Yeah.
happen this early.
In fact, you, Heart of Stone listener, may cry by the end of Mother 3
Yeah.
because the message that is part of it is very touching.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And and it's also very intentional. I think you absolutely nailed it. That this is in a lot of ways a love letter to sort of Americana.
Yeah.
Through the lens and the eyes of a Japanese person.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, which I think
Shigesato
is great.
Itoi is a foreigner.
Yeah, yeah. And this, it's not a sequel, like a direct story sequel to Earthbound, although there are definitely nods to characters and places and events in Earthbound, some more sort of subtle and some, by the end of the game, some a bit more obvious. But
Yeah. So just like a Pokemon RPG would start, you start in your room, or like many RPGs start, I guess.
Yeah.
You start in your room. Your hair's a mess. You've got bedhead. You go
Yeah.
down to speak to mom. You do want to go out and play, but Earthbound is not done with you yet because you need to change out of your
you
jammies
get
first.
dressed, just like in
You cannot go outside
yeah,
that way.
man,
is roughly
the,
what
the
she's
number
saying.
of amazing RPGs that start with the character waking up,
Yeah.
or just games.
Oh yeah,
Link
no,
to the
it's so cool.
Past, Chrono Trigger.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
And it starts out as just an average day,
yeah.
then it becomes a lot more.
And then the pigmen and the dinosaurs.
But how
come.
many games will let you charge into the back of your mom's chair and she gives you something for it? That is the true test.
Yeah.
right
So yeah,
there.
there's a bit more. There's some more sort of moves you have in comparison to Earthbound. That charging move is a big thing that you have to use to sort of solve puzzles and to
Yeah.
fight certain enemies.
My most fascinating, so the fan translation handles what's happening here really well, and I'm pretty sure a lot of this text was already here. But
Animals
when you
all
talk
talking
to
to you.
these animals, yeah, they all have something to say that's sort of unique and, and weird.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the battle mechanics of Earthbound,
Yeah.
of Mother 3, are, bar none, some of the most amazing or inspired I've seen in an RPG.
Yeah,
because it's not just about the simple fight and choose a, sort of contemporary magic spell B or what have you. It very much has a lot to do with you playing the role of a metronome and following up the attack on beat. So you are tapping the attack button in tune to the song, in time to the song, and if you do that right, you can chain up an additional 16 hits.
Which is awesome. There are games that have sort of that rhythm-based component to its battle systems. Like, the Mario RPG series has had sort of the active battles where you want to hit the button right before an attack. But this is taking, the music, which is, of a lot of our favorite RPGs, that's one of the most memorable parts of any Square game. Everyone's singing back on the music. But it takes that and then strips it to its beat. And if you can sort of catch the beat of each song, then you just become this powerhouse in battle.
Take a minute also to look at the sprites themselves. I mean, Brownie Brown is known for making really, really good-looking sprite-based games.
That dinosaur in the background that's sleeping, and you can see it breathing, and its nose, its nostrils are flaring up.
And they currently, I believe they changed their studio name. Now they're called One Up Studios. I think they're doing a lot more work with Nintendo these days. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Mother 3 did not start out as a Game Boy Advance game.
Earthbound 64.
Fact, it was Earthbound 64, and what surprised a lot of people was that when Mother 3 became a thing, and it became the project that came out of Earthbound 64. A lot of what people had seen in those videos that they showed at like Space World were in this game. So clearly the story and most of this stuff transferred over from there, but for whatever reason they ran into their limitation where they couldn't do it. Now, granted, you're seeing a lot of text now. Sorry about that. You were going to say.
One of the characters, the main characters that people saw in Earthbound 64 in those screens was Flint, who's the sort of cowboy dad, and that's who, you see him sort of the same. He has the same general aesthetics. You see a lot of the same enemies, same settings and everything. So it's really interesting how, a lot of times with games, they'll evolve as, if they're delayed a while, they'll evolve into the next console, whereas this sort of devolved, not in a bad way, but just sort of went from a ambitious console RPG to a really great handheld RPG.
And I am committing violence against dinosaurs, but there's actually a reason why. They're teaching Lucas at this point how to use his charge ability and how to knock into things. Although that one was a super delayed reaction. But we are going to get our first fight in a few seconds. And also, I mean, it would be great to kind of take this RPG from sort of the middle and show you a little more of its battle mechanics. But trust us in that we don't really want to spoil this game for you. And there's a lot of really special moments. And, maybe one day we're actually going to get to – I want to believe that Nintendo's eventually going to put this out.
I've wanted to believe that for a while.
Yeah, a lot of us have. But, yeah, it's true that we're not entirely sure. So – I hope that this is finally going to trigger. This should be the one.
I feel like you have to talk to some folks.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
never speak Japanese.
So we're kind of fumbling through.
This is a bit tough.
Yes. Oh, here we go. And he comes. So this bug got beef apparently, and it's about to get squashed. But even these dinosaurs, they're a very important part of what's going to happen in the early part of this game. And again, no spoilers for the sake of just introducing you to this, but here is the battle system.
So visually, it looks a lot like Earthbound.
Yeah, and if you see at the bottom, there are two. Obviously, those two show our HP and our PP. PP are like magic points. But what is cool here is the way that rhythm system works. Now, I'm going to try to get it on beat, but I can't promise you anything. And I didn't get it. Okay, that was a two-hit.
So the thing is, you're going to sort of the beat of the song, which eventually you get a spell that sort of puts the enemy to sleep, and it strips away a lot of the extraneous noise of the song, and then you just hear like the thud of the tempo. And that's the thing that you can kind of capture. Each enemy almost has their own song, and so when you learn, you're facing different enemies that you have to hit them at a different beat.
And some of them are faster, some of them are slower. Like it's all over the place.
Some of them mix it up. It's not always
they change tempo. Yes, absolutely. So really quick, last thing to point out before we leave the screen is that the health points are sort of in the style of an odometer. And what's really cool about that system is that when you take a really heavy hit, you can actually quickly jump to a healing item and prevent it before the entirety of that attack damage is registered. That's the thing they carried over from the original Earthbound, or excuse me, Mother 2. So that's just something.
And even if you could take a hit that will kill you, but if you're able to either finish the fight or heal before that, then the odometer will stop. Which I always thought was such a cool idea.
Absolutely. And here is Mom, Hinawa, who notice the dad isn't around. Actually, that's another interesting thing is, we always talk about the amount of absentee dads in RPGs specifically, but this dad is just not here.
Yeah.
You do eventually take over as,
pretty early in the game, actually. You take over.
So we're going back for our favorite food, which was, according to Marty, Japanese words.
Yeah, Japanese words.
But
that up like breakfast.
Yeah, they're heading over.
This
and
like,
look at the way,
from Jurassic Park.
even the way the characters move. I love that there's sort of a personality that's just kind of naturally given off. Even you get to control a character later in the game who he's a master thief, but he has a gimp leg.
Yeah.
So he just walks funny through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He even runs funny through the whole thing. And every character just sort of presents themselves. And there's a lot of talking to you, the player, which is what he's sort of doing right now. A lot of fourth wall breaking. If you played Earthbound on Super Nintendo, you are very familiar with what we're talking about because there is some of that in there as well.
You gotta, if you haven't played Earthbound, go do that. Download it on Virtual Console. Go download it.
Yeah, totally available. Support the Earthbound series.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth your time.
Yeah, the best.
With that, we only showed a little bit of battle, but I think we've shown enough.
I think we've shown enough. We're gonna leave these. We're gonna leave it when everything's happy. Nothing bad's happened yet.
Yeah, nothing bad has happened yet. Good point.
Yeah.
So you just saw us play Mother 3, which is part of our 125 Let's Plays celebrating Nintendo's 125th anniversary. That's the thing. They've been an entertainment company for a really long time, only making video games up until fairly recently. Recently by, like we're saying, the past 3 decades. 3 or 4 decades. But regardless, we do want to showcase some of the best things they've ever made, and we totally feel Mother 3 deserves to be on that list.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for watching this, and for more, hopefully more, Mother 3 coverage, Marty.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it one day.
High water.
Yes. Keep it right here at IGN.
Bye, Hanella.